to the K-3 report card and rubric screencast. The ELA department appreciates your patience, questions, and concerns in understanding the changes and shifts with the new report card and guidance documents. The purpose of this screencast is to give you an overview of how to navigate the documents and ways in which to communicate student progress to parents and other stakeholders. First, let's start with the background of the documents. The ELA and matrices were realigned to match the state recommendations and to address the demands of the new assessment landscape. Your ELA standards, coupled with the grade-specific frameworks, are your roadmap for planning rigorous, engaging, and relevant English language arts instruction. The frameworks outline the reading and writing expectations for each quarter. All 10 reading standards are taught each quarter. The reading standards work best when coupled with the writing genre of that quarter. Moreover, the reading foundational, speaking, listening, and language standards are also a focus for each quarter and are best taught in conjunction with reading and writing. Since the reading standards are built on a ladder of complexity and also are recursive, it may be helpful if teachers focus on standards 1 through 3 during quarter 1, 4 through 6 during quarter 2, 7 through 9 during quarter 3, and standards 3, 6, 9 during standard 4. These are also referred to as the struggle standards. Standard 10 is always a standard of focus. Because the reading standards move students deeper into a text, key ideas and details, what does the text say? Craft and structure, how does the text work? Integration of knowledge and ideas, what does the text mean? And lastly, thinking about range in reading and level of text complexity, what does the text inspire us to do? This is where writing is born. This does not mean that teachers are not teaching standards 1 through 10 regularly. All standards are of equal importance. There is more power if they are taught together rather than separately. Moreover, it's important to note and communicate to parents that the standards are an end point of the year, not each quarter, so students are progressing towards mastery. The matrix and rubrics that are provided are not a one-and-done measure. They are intended as a roadmap and guidance tool to help teachers formatively assess a student's progress towards that end-of-the-year mastery. The teacher report card rubric is designed as a guiding document to aid in formatively determining the mastery level of the standards that are taught throughout the year. For example, although reading standards 1 through 3 are formatively assessed during quarter 1, this does not mean that teachers may not address standards 4 through 10 during their daily reading instruction and gather data to report on a student's progress of these standards. We are aware that the correlation between the language used on the teacher rubric is more standard specific than the language used on the back of the report card. The back of the report card is simply intended to give parents a snapshot of the greater picture of the skills and concepts that students will master over the course of the year. The document is useful as a resource for determining students' progression throughout the 9 weeks. Guidance documents like the rubrics are to be used in conjunction with the experience and judgment of the teacher's assessment of students. The reading strand boxes on the K2 report card are not shaded and therefore do not directly align to the matrices and rubrics. This offers schools and teachers the option and flexibility of reporting on a student's progress on each reading strand each quarter. Moreover, many standards are assessed under each strand. For example, under key ideas and details for quarter 1, 3 standards for literary and 3 standards for informational text may be a standard of focus. Therefore, teachers will want to work in their collaborative teams to use their professional judgment in determining the overall snapshot for a student's progression under that key ideas and details strand. The language and skills on the back of the report card for the conventions of standard English and vocabulary acquisition and usage do not directly align with the rubric and matrices. The back of the report card is a parent summary. Therefore, capitalize holidays and produce and expand and rearrange simple sentences are not included on the rubric or matrix, but are articulated on the back of the report card. Once again, those language standards are best taught in conjunction with the writing genre of that quarter. For example, in order for a student to consistently and independently write a narrative in which they recount a well-elaborated event or short sequence of events, he or she must also understand how to produce, expand, and rearrange complete simple sentences, and capitalize. Vocabulary acquisition and usage become a part of the everyday reading and writing experiences. Teachers may choose how they assess and report on these standards. For example, teachers may use a mentor text to determine the language standard of focus. Students would then practice this standard in their writing. Teachers may use the rubrics and matrices in conjunction with student writing samples to communicate to parents the proficiency level of conventions and vocabulary. Oftentimes, several language standards can be addressed and assessed by a single rich writing task. It's also helpful to use a writing rubric to determine the proficiency in regards to the language and vocabulary standards. Furthermore, teachers may choose to write the specific language standards that are being reported on the front of the report card on the back to better communicate with parents what convention or vocabulary standards are being assessed and reported. Now let's talk about some useful resources to use with parents during conference week. Developmental guidance documents were recently released and posted to Blackboard. These are excellent tools for showing the progression of complexity over time. Also, they outline activities to support reading, writing, and language at home, and they describe the shift in each grade level's expectations. Please refer to your grade level Blackboard shelf for more information. Let's recap. Remember, your standards and frameworks are your roadmap for planning for rich, engaging, and relevant English language arts instruction. Remember that those reading standards are built on a ladder of complexity. And lastly, the rubrics and matrices are not intended to be a one-and-done measure. Remember, end-of-the-year mastery is key. Moreover, the rubrics and matrices showcase focus standards to formatively assess students. Once again, all standards are taught throughout the year. And lastly, reporting. Remember, the report cards showcase student performance on the standards currently. They can be adjusted to match your school, class, and needs, and you may also want to use student samples to support your reporting and to communicate to parents. All of your resources are located on Blackboard. Please contact Elizabeth Cobia, your K-12 English Language Arts Supervisor, with any other specific questions.